So in essence, that's just basically what the meeting is all about. Mr. Jude, are you back on? Mr. Jude. Mr. Jude. If he's not back on, I'll be sharing. I'll be sharing a slide with us now. Mr. Jude, are you back on? Okay, seems he's not back. Sorry. I'm looking for that slide so that I can share it. I think the slide is on. My system is a bit Ms. Aweda, mute your mic. Mr. Jude. Hello, Mr. Jude.
I can hear you now. I've been on mute.
Okay, you've been on mute. So take over the meeting while I sort out the slide. Okay, I think it's coming up.
Okay.
Yes. So can you just be giving us a brief on
Okay. Good
Don't know
morning
why my
once more.
system is slow. Good morning.
Like Mr. Fasasi has said, he has given a brief introduction. But while we wait for him, we can discuss few things. I am so sure that can we all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, like I was trying to say, I know that we're all aware of the logistics system of HIV and AIDS commodities. This is what we've been doing for a long time now. But let's just also give a kind of, brief explanation of the things that we do. Even though we do them, we do not know that we do them, or sometimes we do know, but we are not really so much conversant with them. We all know about the CIS rights of LHMC. Hello? Hello?
Hi, we can hear you. We can hear you.
I was asking, do we know what LMHC means?
Yes, yes.
What is it?
Logistics management information system.
Logistics management of HIV and AIDS commodity. That's what it means. And then we have CIS rights guiding this. Do we all know what that CIS rights are? Okay, let me just quickly mention them since Mr. Fasasi's slides are on. Maybe we'll come back to it, or maybe at the course of the study, we will still talk about them. We have, like I said, 6 rights: the right goods, the right commodities, the right condition, the right place, the right time, and then at the right cost. We'll discuss this later in details at the course of the course. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Mr. Jude. I believe you can all hear me.
Yes.
So this is a slide on inventory management by WHO. This is a WHO slide. So that means a standard slide. So it's not like I am inventing anything out of the ordinary. So this is what we are all used to seeing. It is what we are all working with. So it's talking about, it says stock management means properly maintaining the adequate supply to ensure uninterrupted supply. So if we, uninterrupted services, if we maintain adequate supplies, that means we have optimal stock level of our commodity. Do we all agree with me?
Yes.
Now, if peradventure we do not do proper and accountable stock management, we know that there will be problem along the line, don't we? Either coming from us as facility people or coming from our IPs. If there is no proper stock taking, it's just like, okay, at the end of, you are sending a child to school without bothering whether that child is passing or failing. You just say, just go. And at the end of the day, the child fails, you don't check anything, there's no proper guidance. Definitely, you know it's not the fault of the child. Yours is also part of it. You are also part of the cause because you have been unable to take stock of what is happening with the child. So, and same applies to our commodity. We are supposed to monitor what we use, how we use it, when we need to use it, and when we need to replenish. For those of us who are in business, I know some of us may be running patent medicine stores or one thing related or the other. Even when we do buying and selling, you have to look at your shelf regularly to know what is in high demand, how you are using it, how you are selling it. If you have more than 5 different goods you are selling in your store, and there's a high demand for one or two of them, you need to constantly replenish that which is in high demand. If you don't, you are likely to run out of stock. And then, of course, you have dissatisfied customers, won't we?
Yes.
So, same thing applies to managing health commodities. You need to know what you use, how you use it, when to restock, and how to restock. So it's not like every time you need to now start calling us or the LMC or the state ministry, I don't have this, I don't have that. If we do a proper stock management, we are not likely to run into this problem. So the module is on inventory. This is a module for WHO CDC, inventory. So managing stock at HIV rapid testing sites. So, and we know that the PMTCT are basically rapid testing sites. We are not like the laboratories, in quotes, who do more of management and care and some other testings. So what we do is to dictate, and when we dictate, sometimes we refer, sometimes we manage. So the lab quality system, or the 12 quality essentials. One of the 12 quality essentials is purchasing and inventory. And though you don't do the purchasing for HIV commodity at your end, somebody is doing it. And because somebody is doing it, there must be proper accountability. Are we together?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and then what you do is more of the inventory management. Though if you look at these 12 quality essentials, they are all interwoven, but we are basically going to talk more on purchasing and inventory, more of inventory control and inventory management. So it is a quality essential for those of us who are conversant with quality essentials. So those of us who have done our MPH, who are doing our MPH, we know we'll be coming across this regularly. And for those of us who are laboratorians, this is a constant that we come across, these 12 quality essentials. So what are the learning objectives? We are at the end of this module, we'll be able to maintain our proper records, maintain proper level of consumables. Then we use FEVO. You know, formerly, what do we used to use? We use FIVO, if you remember, Abi. Hello?
Hello.
We used to use FIVO, which is first in, first out, but now it is first expire, first out. So, because first in may be last out, and last in may be first out. Because assuming somebody brought, let's say, nevirapine syrup for us, this last LMD, and the nevirapine syrup that was brought is just an hypothetical assumption. So the nevirapine that was bought will go out in, let's say, July. And we have a former stock that will go out. Maybe we have old stock that will go out in November. We will not say, because the old stock is the one that first came in, we will now push it out first. No. Because the new stock that we got is actually going to go out faster than our old stock. So ideally, we you know, common sense depicts that we will push the one that will expire first out and retain the one that will expire last out. Then expect delivery of supplies before acceptance. This is also a problem, not only for our PMTCT site, it's also for our ART site. These 3PLs, we all know what they do. I think there was an issue in Otaifun and Odiolowo and some of our facilities some times ago, where we had issues relating to, I think it was Determine. They gave them a Determine that has a different date outside and a different date embossed on the, that foil inside the package. So you can see, and the person has already dropped it, they have gone their way, you signed, so we can't return it. We can only manage. I could only report it to Abuja at the level of Abuja when they will not take it up. But unfortunately, there was nothing we could do because it was already signed for. So that is an issue that we try to like, okay, this training is going to try and correct for us. Then identify lot to lot variation. You know, we can have lot and lot variations. We may think what we accept is the same thing. The batch may be different. And because we have seen one, we just assume, okay, since it is going out in December, every other one will go out in December. No, we need to look at everything one after the other and look at their expiry dates. So then we need to keep our kit. How do we store our kit? We also have to look at this. It's part of the learning objectives too. Sorry, Mrs. Aweda, can you please, or Mr. Jude, please help me to be looking at the waiting room to admit people as they come in. Okay. So the next, look at the content overview. What is stock management? What is record keeping? The other level, receipt of consumables, storage of consumables. Receipt of consumable means when we are receiving our consumables. How do we receive our consumables? Then storage of our consumables. I think it's better in this format. Then, what are the stock that we usually have in our test centers, in our PACs? You know, this did not include our ARVs, because for Osun, I'm aware that we collect ARV drugs, TDF, 3TC, evavirenz, and then that's TLE, and we also collect zidovudine syrup. We also collect nevirapine syrup. So our stockroom is always going to look like this. We have our gloves. We have our what do we call it? Sharp containers. We have our alcohol swabs. We have basically all our test kits coming. So then, stock management leads to high quality testing. If you are able to manage our stock very well, because even storage is part of stock management. If you are able to store properly, this will allow for high quality management. You will be sure that, okay, the kit I'm using is not expired because I've checked it before I started using it. And then I know when it is going to go out, and I know I'm not using an expired kit. You don't have to be looking over your shoulder every time you are doing your testing, that am I doing the right thing? Because you know you are obviously doing the right thing. And of course, we'll support you with DTS from time to time so that you can use it to validate your test kits. Or we ask your ART site to do that on your behalf. Then it ensures availability of material and test kits when needed. Avoid the use of expired kits, like I said. And of course, when you only request for what you need, then you will minimize wastage. How do we manage our stock? Okay, I've given this. I said you own a sundry. I've given this scenario. You buy and supply merchandise from supplier and sell them for maybe a profit. To keep a profitable business, you must always have the right items, like I said earlier, available for every customer who comes your way to do their daily purchase. For those of us who do daily need stuff, Maggi, tomato paste, you know, all those things. You cannot afford, especially in this period of COVID-19 lockdown, you cannot afford to be out of stock. Because if you are now the neighborhood champion, especially now, if you are selling food or drugs, which I believe most of us deal with, you are the neighborhood champion. If you own a mini supermarket, you are the neighborhood champion. And it will be too bad if I am coming to your store, I rely solely on you now, and you are messing up, so to say. You are not stocking adequately. I come today, you don't have. I come tomorrow, you don't have. Next tomorrow, I will go to the next street because I can still move to the next street. The lockdown, I don't need car. So once I'm able to get in the next street, obviously, even though your shop is beside my house, when else I need, because my subconscious mind is already programmed to go to the next street. I will go there, you just see me scrolling in with my nylon bag, and you'll be like, when did Daddy Yodu decide not to be buying from me? And what did I do? You will come and I'll say, you didn't do anything. It's just that, you know, because I'm used to that woman, where you are always out of stock. So you can see the scenario. So when we are always out of our commodity, clients will run away from our center. They will say, Obama don't want my kidney, test kit, kidney nation, you get what we are saying. So we need to maintain our stock adequately so that we are always on top of our game. So stock management involves knowing. You must know what and how much supplies and consumables you have. You must know what you have in stock and when it is likely to go out, so that you will know when to order, and you will not be doing emergency order. You know, when you call us and say, Mr. Fasasi, I don't have this, you are doing what we call emergency order. It is what we frown at. We don't like to get to that level because you put us on a hotspot. We will be running around to try and meet up for you. So if you know what you use, how you use it, you know when to order so that you don't run out of stock. And what and how much have been ordered. When you do your ordering, you know what you have ordered. If somebody, you've ordered for 10 determined part based on your consumption, and possibly something is going to expire in a store somewhere, maybe in Lagos or Abuja, and they decide to do a push, you will tell them, I didn't order for this. What I need is just 10. You take your 10 and tell them to go away with the rest. Otherwise, the thing is going to expire on you. So and if they are bringing less than what you order, you would quickly inform us. I ordered for 4 and being given 1. So that we now look at it and then we can tell you that, oh, it's because we have so much in the system, we are going to redistribute. Don't worry, we'll meet up with the remaining part of your order. So that's how, when you know what and how much you have ordered, helps you. Then where to store your stock. You cannot take more than your stock can take. Like I painted that scenario, if your stock can take only a maximum of about 10 parts of vitamin, Unigold and Start Pack, and then somebody is bringing 30 to you, where will you put it? If you leave it on the floor or you leave it carelessly somewhere, somebody can prefer it or it can get damaged. Maybe rain, rats, or anything can happen, and you are the one who's going to be held responsible. So we need to know what we can take and how much we can store in our store. Then when and how much fresh stock was received and by whom. Because, and that is, you know, the 3PLs are fond of, most of the time, they come in the wee of the night. They will come when, can we mute our mic if we are not talking? So,
Yes.
So the 3PL will come when you are out of your facility, because most of the time what they want to push are near expires. And this is not LD. It's not LD for us at all. So that is why we say always know what you want and know who is taking what. Okay? Can we go on?
Yes, sir.
And of course. So you also, if anything happens to the stock, peradventure that stock somehow you can't find the stock again. you know who to ask, because that person is the one that signed for receipt. So the stock management involves performing a stock count, maintaining proper inventory record, determining when to reorder, determining how much to reorder, placing order properly, respecting delivery of new orders, ensuring proper storage. We've spoken about this. You must do a stock count. Stock count is not mathematics. So stock count is not mathematics. You know, we used to have this formula, auto sum, auto whatever click before. That once you input some figures, it will automatically sum itself up. But we've removed that. We've removed the auto summing because we don't want you to just rely on mathematical permutation. Do a physical count. Record what you can see. When you are doing a physical count, you may find out that you have underreported your stock, or you have expires, or you have damaged products that you need to report to us when you are giving us your monthly report. Then also, it helps you to know when you are placing your order, to place your order properly, so that you don't over demand, or you don't over order and you don't under order for your supplies. Then when your orders comes, because you know what you have ordered for, you'll be able to inspect, okay, this is what I want, this is not what I want, this is not what I requested for. You'll be able to do a proper check. Then, of course, you will be able to maintain your stock. You will not order what you cannot store. If your stock is full, you don't need to order excessively, or you quickly call for us to help you with the redistribution of some things that may likely go out of, may likely expire on you. So, what is stock count? Stock count is physical counting, like I said. Count each item one after the other. You must count them. Vitamin, count it. Unigold, count it. Starpack, count it. Glove, if you have DBS kits, count them. If you have ARVs, TLE, count. Nevirapine, count. Zidovudin, count. Let us know. Do the physical counting, not paper permutation. So then, when is it done? A physical count should be done at the beginning of every month, and that is why we say it is opening balance. It is your opening balance for that month or that period. If you are just going to rely on permutation, you are likely to get it wrong. Please, at the end of the month or designated period, always do a physical count. And when you do a physical count, you know we have what we call a monthly close out. After you have closed out for the previous month, like, okay, today is 29, tomorrow is the end of the month, we expect you to close out by tomorrow for April. And because we do a bi-monthly, what we call it, bi-monthly reporting, we expect you to do a rule off for March and April tomorrow also. And then I will talk about rule off later. Then we expect you to start a physical, opening balance by Friday. Your opening balance will be a new beginning. So who is to do it? You must have please, hello, OICs. We have OICs here, Abi?
Yes.
Please, you must designate somebody to be in charge of your inventory. But you must have a storekeeper. If you don't before, go and appoint someone. It is essential. That person and it is better is a junior staff. You know why? Yorùbá ní pé atóbi má ṣe bá wí kò ṣe fi joyè o, àìfẹ́ ni ọ̀rọ̀ dùn joyè torí kò ní ṣe bá wí o. So if it is a senior officer, you will not be able to handle such a situation. And there's an adage, everybody's slave Yeah, now they always do what they bushy. You go for Joya ni Reman. And for Mr. Jude, who is not Yoruba speaking, that's why I needed to interpret it. Now everybody goes, nobody they feed them. So if you think A will do it, everybody believes somebody should do what one person must do, and at the end of the day, nobody does it. You get what I'm trying to say? Hello, are we together?
Yes.
So if everybody believes somebody should do what a particular person will do, at the end of the day, nobody will do it. So we must assign roles and responsibility in our facility, please. So then, okay, we maintain proper inventory record. So for us to maintain it, these are what we use. We can use cards, stock cards, bin cards, tally, inventory control cards, store ledger, a lot of things. You know, we will come across them as we go on. So, and then we also have our daily worksheet. It also helps us. We call it registers. So our daily worksheet or register also helps us because it keeps track of our daily consumption. It's called daily consumption records. So this is an example of a stock card. You can see the dates, received from, issued to, quantity received. This is like our bin card if you have been filling it. So you can see it's very, very easy to fill. Today's date, 29. Do we receive anything? Yes, we put it if we received. Do we issue to maybe lab, maybe clinic, maybe antenatal? We put it there. Then the quantity that we received or the quantity that we issued, what is the balance? Then the lot number of what we issue. Basically, they look alike, but there may be variation based on designs. But the information to be captured is essentially the same thing. So this is more for, you can see the item name, determine, unit, one test. Determine is reported in test. Manufacturer, Alere, minimum stock, the order level. You will put your minimum stock. Your minimum stock for us is what you use in 2 months. Hello?
Hi.
So for most of our bin card, we don't have it there. So what we recommend for you, the left side of the paper or the card, put min, M-I-N, in capital, and then put is equal to, put what you use for 2 months normally, put it there. Write it in figure, what you normally use in 2 months. Then you now at the left-hand side, put mass. That's your maximum stock, what you use for 4 months. Put it there. So that it's like a flag. Once you are going low, you'll be able to see it. Once you are going too high, above your 4 month supply, that is you are overstocking. You will know and quickly contact us. So this is stock book. You know, stock book is different from card. It's a book. It's like a ledger. It's bigger. So, and then you use this mostly in warehouses or central stores, like the central medical stores we have in Abiri. So, reconciling stock with records. Test performed is equal to stock depletion. Abi? Hello?
Hi.
The number of tests you have done is the number of what you have used from your stock, isn't it? Hello?
Hi.
But the reality is that it is not like that. Because you may have loss, you may have adjustments, you get what I'm saying? You may have negative adjustments, there may be loss, there may be damage. So test performed plus loss or damage or theft or whatever is equal to your stock depletion. But you cannot get this other part, if you see my arrow, unless you are able to do a physical, and let me go back, sorry. So what should be done to minimize loss? What do we do to minimize loss? What we need to do to minimize loss is that we always check our stock physically, and we should always store our commodity properly. That will enable us, there's commodity security. You must provide a secure place for your commodity. Secure place does not only mean burglary proof. It must be limited by access. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry should be able to go in and take the commodity. Issue as at when needed. Then, of course, it must be shielded from the sun, direct sunlight. It must also be in a well-ventilated room, and it must also have a roof that is not leaking on top of it. So minimum stock. These are terminologies we use. I think I will just rush it. Minimum stock is what we need to keep operational without any additional support. At least what will maintain us for a level of our reporting period. We do bi-monthly reports. Hello?
Hi.
Since we do bi-monthly reports, what we do us for 2 months is our minimum stock level. So that means we should be very, very careful to note what we use every two months. That's our minimum stock level. If we run short of it, it is a problem. So, and I pray we don't run into issues, because when we run into issue with this COVID lockdown, commodity getting to us may be a little bit difficult. Then the lead time. Lead time is the time it takes between when you place your order and the time you receive it. Before we have the lockdown, once we finish our LMD, it usually takes between 3 to 4 weeks before we start getting our commodity. So that is our lead time for us as facility people. It is the time between when we place our order and the time we start receiving it. It used to be 2-3 weeks, but now it's like 3-4 weeks. So if we do the needful, and by the 6th of next month, which is the month we are entering by Friday, we do the needful by latest 3-4 weeks. So that means by the end of May or the first week in June, we should be getting our stock. So that's our lead time. Then the maximum usage, that's the maximum stock level. The number of test kits that we can use over a maximum period. And our maximum period is 4 months. So minimum stock level is equal to maximum stock level, to maximum lead time multiplied by maximum usage. So if it will take 4 weeks for us to get our supply, so let's use our own instead of these 12 weeks. Okay, let's use it. Okay, let's assume our lead time is 12 weeks. It will take 3 months for us to get our supply, if it takes 3 months. And we use 3 kits per week. So that means we just, for us, the maximum lead time is 12 weeks. So what we need to have, since we use 3 kits per week, is we must have 36 kits before our kit comes. Otherwise, we run into problem. So for us now that our maximum, our lead time is 4 weeks, if we use an average of, let's say, 20 kits per week, and our lead time is 4 weeks, that means for the 4 weeks period, we need 80 determined kits, which is almost 1 pack. So that means we must have 1 pack in our store before the next supply come. If we have anything short of that one pack, we may likely be in problem. So that is what the minimum stock level and lead time is trying to talk about. You can take notes. So then, of course, it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. So let's not bore ourselves. Determine how much to reorder. Establish proper full stock level. Reorder to reach that level. Like I said, always have your min and max. Your maximum is what you should be attaining for. Are we together? So the moment you fall below the maximum, always place your request. When you fall below the minimum, that is an emergency order point. So we should understand that. Consider stock consumption, borrowed, expire, wastage, beverage. We must consider everything that will reduce our stock. You know, we as facility, we tend to give ourselves things. And I note in Osun, especially in Osogbo, we have non-supported facilities that are close to us, which we call netted facility. Am I wrong?
No.
So this netted facility, we should also consider and carry them along in making our requests, because we know they will always come. So we should know what they normally come for every week. And then we should factor it in when we are doing our stock, maximum stock level. Everything they order, everything they need from us, plus what we also need, must be added together. That is our consumption. So we shouldn't say, oh, Shebi, my facility only use 5. It is the netted facility that use 10. No, they are depending on you, one way or the other. So you must always make room for them, as long as they always give you their data. Their consumption data comes to you. I know there's a way the state used to, balance the MIE, the service data, so that we don't have double reporting. Then never order more than you can store. Never order more than you can store. Never order more supply than you can use before they expire. If they bring near expires to you and you cannot finish it before it expires, take only what you can use and tell them to take the remaining back. If they normally they will be telling you that they will not pay them, it's not your business. Are you with me? It is not your business. It is not your business whether they are paid or not. Your business is to make sure you use what you have, only what you can use in your facility. Let them take the remaining wherever they can take it. Nobody consulted you before they brought it. So don't be their dump site. Consider maximum usage plus minimum stock level. Always know what you need before your lead time, before the next supply gets to you. If you don't, please, let's start taking note. What you use on a weekly basis, multiply by 4, must be available at the time you are placing your order. What you use on a weekly basis, multiply by 4, must be available when you are placing your order. Otherwise, you may run into stock out. So these are calculations. We'll take this one tomorrow. The calculations will be taken tomorrow. These are exercise. We'll take them tomorrow. Then place orders properly. Describe ordering system. Okay. You know, the ordering system we have in place is by monthly ordering. So that's our own ordering system. Then, of course, we have always provide specific instruction on your placing order. We will show you, we'll share with you tomorrow.
Yes.
The CRIF that you should be using. We will share it with you tomorrow. Then when you have a training, you know, we used to get people.
WhatsApp now.
Hello. We used to have people. Hello. Are you with me? Hello.
Fine.
Okay. So we know that we used to. Okay. Thanks.
Laptop.
I know that we used to have a lot of people coming in from School of Health Technology, maybe School of Nursing at times, who comes for maybe 1 or 2 clinical, what do we call it? Clinical internship or something like that. So clinical attachment. So when they come around, please always instruct them on how to do proper documentation, so that when they pick something from the store in your absence, they should report and record it properly. Then, of course, you must have a contingency plan in place when your stock is running out. So you must know, who am I to call when I am running out of stock, when I reach emergency order point. Number one, you must get in contact with your LACA manager, and or get in contact with your LMCU. You have local government LMCU heads now. You get in contact with them, or your local government logisticians, or your LACA manager. Or you get in contact, if you have exhausted this, get in contact with us. We always find a way of redistributing this commodity. Then the means of communication and feedback. Thank God we have a forum. And then possibly we may be holding meetings like this once in a while to discuss about, since there's a lockdown, you might not be seeing much of us. And so we'll be able to talk on videos, hear our voice, see our faces, and tell us issues that we have. So there must be a way of feedback. You can always reach us through phone or through the WhatsApp forum that we have. So, then, of course, now you have gotten your delivery. When you receive your delivery, first thing is to verify what you have received. Does it match what you have requested for? Check it very well. Check for the integrity. Don't take any carton that is torn. What if it plaster lay? What if it sellotape lay? They've plastered it, they've sellotape it, and you know that is not normal. For determined pack, Unigold or Start Pack or DBS or any of our drugs, don't take it. If it is leaky for drugs, you know definitely maybe the bottle is broken, don't take it. If you see that it is already tampered with, don't take it. See, it is not your problem. Send it back. It is the 3PL's problem. And they will come and account for it. Put it in their, when you are sending back, always give your reason. Put a note in that your, what do they call it? This is their delivery note. Put a note in their own, in your own, and keep your copy. Let them take theirs and go back with whatever you are rejecting. Then always date each of items received. Check the date of each of the item you have received. Know the expiry date, know the date, the manufacturing date, so that you know for how long you have as the shelf life. Then store new shipments before existing shipments. Behind existing shipments. So that means FEVO, do FEVO. Hello? Please, if your new shipment is going to expire first, don't put it behind, put it in the front. They are talking of an ideal situation where new shipment is expected to go out after the existing. Otherwise, put it in the front so that you can quickly pick it, instead of picking the ones that has a far expiry date. So like if you get something now and it's going to go out this year, and you have the ones that will go out next year, put the one that you just got in that is going out this year, put it in the front so that you can use it before the other one. So then, of course, you need to, let me go back. You need to always quarantine your stock. This quarantining is not a COVID quarantining. No. So it's just that you need to put it in a place until, you know, when you get it, after inspecting, you need to put them in a secure place until you have done your proper documentation. Then when you have created and updated your document, you can now do what? Sorry, go and meet your mom. Sorry, it's my baby. I'm working from home. So then you can now bring them out and share them. So can we look at this briefly?
Yes.
So you can see this is like Unigold, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this is a DBS kit. So if you look at it very well, there are two of them there. So they're having the same lot number, and they're having different expiry dates. Hello? So they're having different expiry dates. So ideally, we expect you to use, sorry, the expiry date is the same. It's the same. So that means they are the same. They have the same lot number. They have the same expiry. So you have no problem. You can continue to use this one. So let me see the seconds. Okay, seconds. Hello. Hello. Somebody wants to say something. Please, if you want to say something, just put it in the chat. We'll read it and then we'll take it from there. So ensure proper storage of inventory. Keep in a clean, organized, and logged storeroom. Like I said, it shouldn't be a place where everybody can just walk in and take whatever they like. It doesn't give room for proper accountability. And you know, this is somebody's money. These are other countries' taxpayers' money. So we need to be accountable. And if it's not only for IP supported commodity, we should do that for our commodities too. If we buy commodities in our facility, even if it is syringes and needles, injections, tablets, whatever we buy, let's apply the same rules. You can use our BIN card though. We are not saying only use our BIN card use BIN card for anything that you have in your facility. If you run out of BIN card, tell us, we will resupply you. Then, please, can we mute our phones if we are not talking? We mute this person. So then, store according to manufacturer's instruction. If they tell you store in a cool, dry place, don't go and put in a fridge. Hello? 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 Can we hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Are we together? Sorry. Hello, Jude. Okay. I've done that. So it seems the system is, when new people join, the system will automatically mute everybody.
Okay.
That's where
It's
the issue
okay.
is.
I hear you now.
So back to sorry, I think we have passed this. Okay, this is where we are. So, like I said, if you are asked to store in a cool, dry place, don't go and put in the fridge. Though the fridge is cool, but it's not dry. So, so let's follow the manufacturer's instruction in storing our commodity. Then place in well-ventilated rooms for those items that we need to store on the shelf. Let the room be well-ventilated. Okay, so then store away from direct sunlight. Always store your product away from direct sunlight. You will see that on the carton, most of the time they will put an umbrella shape there. The umbrella indicates, they may not write store away from direct sunlight. They will put an umbrella. What the umbrella signifies that you should store under shade. Thank you. So you should store under shade. So I need to go back. Oops. I need to go back. Okay. So then, of course, place items on the shelf, organize existing and new shipments by, as you can see, they are flagging it. First expire, first out. PEVO, please. PEVO, always. Then summary, what does inventory management means? Is how we manage our stock. And what does stock mean? Stock is the commodity we have, what we are dealing with, what we use to keep our business running. So for us as health people, health personnel, our stock simply is our health commodities. For us in the HIV program, TB HIV program, for us, our stock is the HIV commodities that we give to the facilities. So that includes our rapid test kits, the drugs, and then the general consumables. Then how do we add, okay, what information is recorded on the inventory record keeping? The information that we need to record includes the item's name. I know that's Aisha. So the dates, the item, the manufacturers, we need to have our minimum, maximum level on it. We need to always report the batch or lot number. We need to also have the expires, the issue out, receipt from must also be there, and of course our balance. Then don't forget, it must also contain the signature of the person that is filling in a particular line. Then how do you determine minimum stock level? Like I said, your minimum stock level is what you will need within a minimum period of time. For us, it is within 2 months. What we need to keep your business running within a stipulated minimum period of time. For us, it is 2 months. So 2 months of stock is our minimum stock level. Then how do you determine proper full inventory level? Like I said, your full inventory level for us is your maximum stock level, which is 4 months of stock. Once you exceed it, that is overstock. When you are below it, you are not optimally stocked. but it doesn't mean you have expired. Then what does first expire first out means? It means whatever will expire first should be used first. What procedure should you follow when receiving new kits and supply? Like I said, the first thing to do is to inspect whatever you are getting vis-a-vis your order. Is it in tandem with your order? If not, let the 3PL bring in your deliveries, let them know. Then, of course, check the lot number, check lot to lot variation, check the expiry date. Then, of course, check the physical condition of what you are receiving. If it is leaky, reject. If it is torn, reject. If it is damaged, reject. And if you are not satisfied with the physical condition, reject. Nobody's going to penalize you for it. Then, of course, always make sure that the 3PL does not come in the wake of the night to deliver. They must come during your normal working period. Your normal working period normally is between the hour of maybe 8 to 4 or 8 to 5, as the case may be. So anything exceeding that, let them come when you are going to be available. They've been paid to do that. Then they should also pre-inform you if they are coming so that they will meet the right person. If you are not going to be available, always make sure that they have the contact of who they will be delivering the goods or commodity to. Then, how should kits and supply be stored? Okay, sorry, after you have received all this, always quarantine, then always store with the first to expire in front. Then, how should your kits and supply be stored? It should be stored according to manufacturer's instruction. Read the manufacturer's instruction. Some will be on the floor, some on the shelf, some in your fridge, some based on whatever the manufacturer tells you. One problem with we black people is that when anything is written in black and white, the woman say we know the reader. So please, let's try to read the instruction manual first and follow the instruction for each and every commodity that you receive. So key message, maintain an adequate inventory at all times. Always ensure that you have uninterrupted supply. And this will also, of course, ensure that you have uninterrupted, service. Then do not let any item run out before you order. Don't get to stock out before you let us know, please. Then never order more than you can store. Look at your store space. Whatever you can keep is whatever you should order, so that you don't have issues with beverage or you don't have damage, because we know we have rats in some store, in some facilities. Normal rats, I'm not talking of human being. Normal rats damage this product, please. So let us ensure that. Let's ensure that we keep our items very well. Then all items in inventory must be accounted and recorded. You must account for everything you use. Everything that you are giving, you must account for it. So it's not, how do I put it? It's not free money. So, so before it now become Baba Jebu, where you need to refund it. So please. So, and then always respect new shipments before accepting them. So that's the end. Thank you very much. So Mr. Jude, over to you. Hello, Mr. Jude.
Hello, sir.
Okay, is it logged out?
Yeah, it said you should unmute him whenever you need him to talk.
Okay, I've unmuted everybody. I think you should talk now.
He's still muted though.
Ah, why are you still muted though? I'm unmuting everybody, all participants. Jude, you are on mute.
Hello, well done for the great job, sir.
Yes, ma.
I really enjoyed the lecture.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well done, sir.
You're welcome. Mr. Jude.
Yes.
Fire on.
Okay. I have one contribution to make. Go back to the bin card or stock card that you showed.
Okay.
Honestly,
Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Jude, you are on.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
It's just a little contribution I
Yes.
want to make.
Okay.
Like you rightly. Okay, good. Like you rightly said, on this bin card or stock card, we have different types. But the ones that we have been giving out now are has a column for expiring date of a particular commodity that you're going to be recording on this. And I just want to say that it's very, very necessary that we capture those expiry dates. Take for instance, I was in a particular facility where I was trying to do a stock audit, and I found it difficult because the particular commodity I was trying to capture, it's gone out, it's gone. I mean, they've exhausted it, and I needed to look at the expiry date and capture it and do the normal thing, and I was not able to do that. There was nowhere to get this expiry date. But if they had input all those expiring dates per commodities, it would have been easier to do that. So it's also necessary. If you don't have the one that has the expiring date, good. But if you have that one that have expiring date, please, we should endeavor to always put the expiring date of a particular facility. Another thing is that, most of these commodities are different. Of course, the one you have received probably this week will not have the same expiry date with the one you received last month. So it will also help track and check this our commodity. Of course, we all know the essence of all the logistics management system, so that at the end of the day, there won't be damaged, there won't be loss of this commodity, and we'll always have commodities for our clients. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Mr. Jude. Please, if you have questions before we move to the next.
I want to.
Okay.
I have a question.
We have questions there too.
Please let
Hello.
let Miss Kike.
Yes, I'm
There
here.
you go. Let Miss Kike contribute, please. She's our
Okay,
backstop in the LMCU, please.
Okay, Mr. Fasasi, well done on the lecture. Like, you did a very good job.
Thank you.
But there are some few things I need to add to what has been said, because we have most of the PMTCT sites here and the laboratory personnel too, if I'm right.
Yes, you are.
And these, just like Mr. Judas explained, the stock card. The stock, I noticed that most of these facilities, they don't even have the stock card. Is it that you guys have distributed stock card to them recently?
Actually, there's a nationwide drought of of all these tools. So still being printed. So we are waiting the PR's supply. When we are supplied, we will reach supply them, obviously.
Okay.
Our office doesn't have space.
Yes. So even before now, I expect them, some of them, when we go for MSVs, we encourage them to even make use of the ICCs that they have to keep their stock. But we notice that most laboratories and PMTCT sites, when it comes to laboratory commodities, they don't use stock card, they don't use ICC. So please, we want to encourage you all. Mr. Fasasi has explained the importance of this stock card. It is very important you make use of the stock card. They can just come anytime to supervise your facility from Abuja. And what the first thing they want to see your commodity. And the next thing they want to see is your stock card, because that's the evidence that, okay, this commodity is being kept well. That before they even think about checking your records, your registers, they will ask you of your cards first, your ICCs or your stock cards. And when you are preparing your report, your bi-monthly report, this stock card will also help you. Am I communicating?
Yes.
So this stock card will also help us when we are preparing a bi-monthly report. I noticed that that's the issue we all have been having. When you call some facilities, please, your reports, they'll say, Ashinshe. I don't expect that report to take you more than a day to prepare if you have proper records kept. So please.
To do the reports.
Yes, we know how difficult this thing is.
Because we have to go around the facility. In case of those of us that in Ashubia, we have different points. We have to go around before we can collect it and sit down now, calculate it and now.
Okay, for large facilities, we understand how difficult it is. But what about the other PMTCT sites that don't have too much workloads?
I can't speak on their behalf. Let them speak on their.
So please, we want to really know. We want to really know what the issue is. Let's know what the problem is. Fine, Then one thing again, Mr. Fasasi already talked about our maximum, our minimum stock level, our QTO, our quantity to order, and all that. We even noticed that a lot of us don't even understand what the quantity to order is. We don't understand how to calculate it. When you know what your quantity to order is, when they bring commodity to you and it is in excess, you know that, okay, I can't finish this commodity. In fact, some of you, even when we ask, okay, your average monthly consumption, when we go on MSVs, some people don't even understand. They'll say, what is average monthly consumption? And these are part of what Mr. Fasasi has explained, that when you know all these things, when 3PLs bring commodity to you, you know what you can use and the ones you cannot use. So please, that was why I wrote something on the chat that hope we were jotting what Mr. Fasasi was saying, because all these things he pointed out are very important things. We need to understand the basics of logistics, of inventory management, before we now come to the practicals.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much, Ma. That's why I said we are recording this, and we are going to make it available for people to listen to also, so that it will help us.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. So, somebody said they have questions.
Yeah.
So can we type the question, or we want to ask it because of time? Okay. Who wants to go first?
Okay, Bale, please.
Okay, Bale. You're welcome, man.
Yes. Yes, sir. So should I tap it or I should ask directly?
No, you can ask. You already have the mic. Please, go ahead, man.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Well done.
Yes,
great, sir. My question is this, sir.
Yes,
when you were training us, you said something about giving out to other centers. If we have much, like non, yes. From
hello, ma. Your network is breaking. Okay.
and we have other sites too, and not the other site that
Sorry,
Network is not good.
your network is.
but the sponsor is not.
Can you type what you want to ask, because we can't really hear you, ma?
Hello, please, can I say something?
All right. Okay, Bale, please, can you type your question? Your network is breaking. Please just type it.
All right.
We'll pick it.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. Samuel, you have the floor. Hello, Mr. Samuel. Hello, Mr. Samuel.
Yes.
It's like that. Ma? We didn't hear you.
Hello. I want to appreciate those that have contributed so far first.
Okay.
Then I want to that in my maybe the issue of the ICC card. Sir, are you listening to me, sir?
I'm listening.
I just want to say probably that maybe you can say it's an individual issue. In my overseas here, our ICC card, they are up to date, and I can say confidently that we are up to date, and we are updated every now and then. That's number one. Number two is that I want to probably appeal to our owners, our IPs, that because of the peculiar situation we have in the country now, maybe there should be about the supplies. Things like a mask. We don't have it in facilities. It's affecting us. We don't have from the nature of it, and we are the only one you can rely on for the meantime. Things like hand-sanitizers, hand-washing soap, outside nylon, all those things that are PPE in general. Please, I want to appeal. I'm appealing this time around to Mr. Alasi and Mr. Good in particular. Please, can you just help us to get this across to the authority?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mr.
I have
Bola.
a question.
Okay.
I have a question from the
Liquid soap. The situation in the country now, please. We need
No, please. Let's only ask questions when we are giving the mic, please, so that we can listen to the questions. Thank you. Yes, I think that's Sister Bola.
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
The question I want to ask is concerning that physical count.
Okay.
I think there used to be like an issue, because from my end here, if, for example, if I give out testing kits, like, for example, I give 100 to laboratory, I give 20 to labor and delivery, and maybe 50 to TBL units. So if I go there, I do a physical count. I will, if I'm trying to make the bi-monthly, I will write the physical count. For example, if they have 79 or if they have 70 and they tested 70 new ANC clients, they are supposed to have like 30. If I count 30 from lab, maybe 5 from TBL, that is the remaining, and so on and so forth. If I put down the bi-monthly, the people I send this report to, they will still be calling me and telling me it's not correct. So I don't know how I'm going to reconcile that one, because I keep telling them that is the physical count. At least that is what is left from all the things that they have used. But they will say, it's not correct. And please shed more light to that, because it's like an headache. They keep calling me and telling me it's not correct. And I try to explain to them, this is the physical count, that is the remaining of the things that they have used. I don't, probably maybe they have, maybe for instance in the lab, maybe they didn't test, maybe they tested someone that was not pregnant, and I didn't know. So when I go there, I'll just count, okay, this is the amount that is left. So when I put down the report, they say, hey, it's not correct. It's not this, it's not that. So I don't know, how am I going to reconcile, because it's an headache. I won't
Hello,
lie. Reporting
Okay.
is,
sister.
Let me
because
answer to that question.
the number of people tested here is much. I can't say it is much. So that's
Hello.
one main issue about the reporting.
All right.
Okay, let me answer that question.
Okay, you have the floor.
Okay. For we calling you, because we validate your report, we review your report. And in fact, when you enter it on the platform, without us reviewing safe, it will flag it. And this is the reason why. One, your opening balance, we make use of the POD that was given to you by the 3PLs, because we also have our own copy of the PODs. Are you with me?
Yes, we are together.
I'm with you.
Okay. The PODs that the 3PLs bring, we use it while validating. We check what you received and what you wrote on your CRIF that you received. If it is the same thing with what the 3PLs gave you and what is on the POD, that's fine. Then concerning your beginning balance, we used to go to the previous report you sent to us. We check the ending balance from that previous report and check the beginning balance you are giving us this new reporting period. If it is not the same thing, we call you for that. Another one, you know that, okay, you tell us that you consume this particular number, that the quantity dispensed is like maybe 50. Am I with you?
Yes, we are.
Abi, are you with me?
We are.
Okay, you say that you consume, your quantity dispensed is 50. Okay. And then number of tests done is maybe 30 or 40. Are you with me?
Yes.
So the 10, what happened to the remaining 10? Sometimes we say you did control. Sometimes you say you did it. Now there's another thing. You don't feel the bi-monthly, the summary part where they say, okay, how many control did you do? How many tests did you do? Sometimes, see, there are a lot of issues on that. Let me not even go there.
Hello?
Because sometimes we don't even want to disturb you. We don't want to call you because we have to look for how to, we've called you too much, so we don't want to continue disturbing you. So now you look at what you said. You say when you get there, this is what you saw. But maybe what they told you that they dispense is not the same amount with what you wrote as quantity dispensed. Definitely there's an issue there. And we'll tell you sometimes, calculate it, find your physical stock on hand is this. But what did you write as your quantity dispensed? You to do the calculation yourself. Does it balance? Because this is what the system flags.
Hello?
And once it flags it, it is a quality issue. The quality issue for Osun State is increasing as it is flagging it. So what they keep on saying is our people don't know how to do reports very well. Our reports are not quality enough. And it doesn't speak well of us. That's why we keep disturbing you. Do you understand now?
The other thing there is, there's a limit to how I can control that test. For instance, in the lab now, maybe they use, for instance, someone is saying that the result is invalid. I might not know that the result was invalid. I might not know that maybe what we were doing needed.
Okay. We can't hear you.
I think our network is an issue. Hello, if I can come in, please.
Okay.
So for Enua, I understand your peculiarity. Now, this is the way out of it. Like I said, for those of us who have people we give kits to. For those of us who are the custodian of this commodity, whenever you are giving, see, the only thing that will make your task easy for you is possibly if you can have, hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
So there is nothing wrong in having multiple bin cards at
Yes.
this point, this service delivery points. When they come around, let them bring their card. When they receive it from you, they will sign that they are receiving in your own card. They are taking this. Who's taking the initial it? So when they get there, they know what they are taking. So when they are using, then they'll be reporting it in their own bin card. Additionally, please always tell them if you have invalid, loss, damage, put it down. If they can't put it on the bin card, let them have a kind of notebook, an exercise book, where they'll be noting these things, so that when you come around, they can open that and give you their own report. Okay, when we collected it from you, we found out that rain came and some of these things were damaged. This is the number that, and they should show you these things. It's not like word of mouth only.
Yes.
Because we are still within the same facility, they should let you see where the problem is.
The problem is.
So tell them, see, if you will continue to take commodities from us, you must account for what you are taking.
You must account for it.
Let them account for what you are giving them. So if you count, you give them 70, and you get there, they said they've tested 50 people. What happened? And they cannot give you the remaining 20 kits as balance. Show it to you.
Yes.
What happened to the 20? Let them tell you.
20 kits, yes.
If they've given a neighboring facility without your knowledge, let them go and collect the data and report it as part of their own. So that's how it works. Sister Bola, I know we can take this outside this meeting so that we can trash it out. I know the peculiarity. I think God is even taking control. We are working with, we are working with the people we have on ground. So please, we'll take it outside this training, and then we'll be able to trash it out more effectively. Any other question relating to this? Then on the issue of poor reporting, see, there is an adage that says you cannot give what you don't have. There is always a need for training and retraining. Madam Kike, please, you still need to take this back. I know Mr. Agbola is also on the forum. I think if Mr. Nee is also listening, we have to keep on doing this training and retraining because there's a high turnover of staffs in our facility. So staff attrition is always there. Someone you meet today in a facility and they are transferring people who have been trained, who have this knowledge, and bringing people who don't know about the program. So there will always be need for training and retraining periodically. So I can assure us, if we can all agree on this, we can always have like a refresher training or meeting like this, maybe on a monthly basis, if it's not going to be eating too much into our data. So that we all discuss whatever issues we have like this. We may do it bi-monthly before our CRIF, so that our CRIF will be adequate and okay. So thank you.
Okay, there's another thing I need to add to what you said.
All right.
The issue of transferring and all that, I'm sure you were there at PSMTGW. We even raised it with the stakeholders too, that they should take note of things like that.
Yes.
When they are doing transfers.
Yes.
But another thing is, most times when they transfer people from a particular
facility, without our knowledge.
It is fine. It is without our knowledge. And at the same time, most people, because okay, it is me that is doing this work. It is only me that should know it. Nobody else should know it. That's another thing that I think is affecting us again.
That's black man mentality.
We give ourselves. I used to say this thing all the time. We give ourselves too much
Headache.
workload.
Yes.
Too much headache. You can look for somebody, maybe he's an IT student or somebody working under you that you feel this person can really understand what I'm doing. Explain to the person. Train the person. We are training. When you come for training, we train you to train others, to step down trainings. The training is not meant for you alone. Now, Global Fund has stopped funding training. They assume that they've trained facility staff enough, so they can't continue spending money on trainings. So please, we need to keep stepping down trainings, and then we should look for people who can help us out, who we can train, that can also support us. We can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. The workload, we all know, even at our own end, we know that the workload at the facility is too much. But we have to make use of what we have. Am I communicating?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So please, let's see how we can look for people that can support us. Like Ashubiaro, Mama Asamatu, she has somebody that helps her too. When I call her sometimes, she tell me, oh yeah, call this person. So please, we have to look for people that can help us. So when they're even transferring you out of that facility, you know that you have somebody that is there that can also retrain the new person that is coming in. If the situation continues like that, so please let us see how we can work around it. Depending on the times, things will start changing and things will come in shape. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that word of admonition. So you've heard it from her, please.
Well done.
So let us turn a new leaf. We will continue to try our best. Global Fund has stopped a lot of training. In fact, you cannot be Global Fund has trained too many people. And when you are now telling them, come and train again, they'll be looking at us as, are these people really serious? What have they been doing with the ones we've trained? So please, we just have to, it's an unfortunate situation where we find ourselves, but that's the reality on ground. So we just have to manage the people we have at hand who can help us. So this training now is being recorded, and when we are going to share the recording. So since we are sharing the recording, I think it is only normal for us to also share that recording with our facility people when we get back to the facility. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So please, please. So I'm trying to open the next slide for us so that we can take the next slide. Mr. Jude, are you there? I know this thing is chopping our data, but then it's a course on its own. If you are going to do this outside, you have to pay too. So let's even thank the school that is giving us this privilege. So it's our only two how do I put it? Our only two contribution. So I'll be sharing the new slide with us. Ẹ má worry, tó bá expire, ẹ má bá wa ń jọ mi. Okay. Mr. Jude. Okay, I'll be sharing a new slide now. So can we see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So we are going to be, it's still the same thing, but it's going to talk more on the interrelationship of these terminologies that I think Madam Kike is bringing up for us. Okay, let me fire on all four cylinders. So, so hello. Logisticians generally, you know, there is an International Association of Public Health Logisticians. Hello, are you hearing me? Hello.
We can hear you.
So there is an international. I will mute everybody again. I will mute everybody again. So there is an International Association of Public Health Logisticians, which is okay. I think let me just unmute a few people that I need to confirm. Hello.
The same thing is.
Hello.
Is decided this.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So there's an International Association of Public Health Logisticians, which is responsible for, is a body of people who are responsible for moving health commodities around the world. So there's a difference between supply chain management and logistics, but then they are also interwoven. So then we also have the logistics cycle. So the logistics cycle is talking about, at the center of the logistics cycle is our logistic management information system, the LMIS. So the LMIS, part of the LMIS are CRIF, inventory control cards, all those things we do. Then the Navision Earth LMIS that we are all used to now. So then we have customer service, which is the art of any business. We are all in a business. We should know that. The business of health is a real business. It's just that it's unfortunate in this part of the world, government is not really taking it as we would have expected government to be. So the business of health is a serious business. Please, I've unmuted everybody, so please let's just be careful with the background noise. So hello. Hello. Can we hear me?
Yes.
Please, if you are not using your mic and your environment is going to be disturbing, mute the mic, please. Thank you. So, like I said, at the heart of the business of health is customer service. Our customer.
I'm sorry. Say I'm sorry. Can you not do that again? Say I will not do that again.
Please, please, please.
So,
I will mute everybody again. So the business of health is a serious business. Our customers or our customers include our clients, the community in which we are, our colleagues who we work with. These are the customers that we are serving, because you might be working with pharmacists, doctors, nurses, community health extension workers, public health nurses, health assistants, a lot of people, laboratory scientists, laboratory technologists, laboratory scientists, lab technicians, and the likes. So we have a lot of service, even within our health facilities. We have a lot of customers we are serving. And then we have the external customers, the community in which we are located, the clients who come for one health issue or the other. Wow. There's so much background noise. I needed to mute people. I will just unmute a few. So, like I said, we have a lot of customers. Then we have products that we are using. Product selection is in fact a specialization under supply chain and logistic management on its own. Then forecasting and procurement is also a big thing, because all this thing we use, all our commodity needs to be forecasted for. Then there are people who plan ahead with data to know what we'll be needing. An instance is when we have holidays, like during Christmas time and the likes, when people need to influx into our community, testing will spike. For HIV, testing will spike because a lot of people will want to know their status, maybe after having one night stand and the like. So testing will spike around that time. Somebody used to focus on it, like when we are using health commodities like malaria test kits. I mean, malaria now, malaria commodity, malaria drugs, test kit and the like. You know, during the rainy season, we are just entering the rainy season. There will be spike in malaria cases. So definitely somebody would have forecasted for that, okay, during rainy season, we used to have a spike based on data, and then there will increase push to the community, to the, what do you call, facilities or the service delivery points. They may also not push it, but have more stock that is readily available on demand, so that when there is emergency other points, they can quickly meet up. And of course, the pipeline will also be considered. So a lot of things go into forecasting. Let me not waste our time on it. Forecasting and procurement. When you forecast, you know what you need, when you need it, how you are going to get it into the country, custom, every other things that you need to clear the goods. Then, of course, you now go ahead and procure. When you now procure, it comes into country, and then it has to be stored in warehouses. From the warehouse, it has to be packaged in smaller quantity and moved to where they are needed. So you can see a lot of things going on, even with as little as that vitamin test kit we are using. Averagely, Alere sells vitamin, one pack of vitamin for 45,000 naira before it gets to Nigeria. Then it will be subsidized. When it is subsidized, it comes in, and then it will now be pushed to us. We are not paying a dime, but I just want us to know the cost of one test kit from the manufacturer. But by the time it will get to countries like Nigeria, it is highly subsidized. But then we still have to buy maybe from the market price of maybe at 15,000 a pack. Now, that's what it is going for. If the dollar rate does not come down, we might expect a spike in that price. The price may go up. And so when we use one, let's even say it is 15,000 and we have 100 tests, that's each test kit we use is 150 naira. So just imagine if you have a stock in your own pharmacy or store or your supermarket, and somebody is wasting 150 naira, like it doesn't matter. Before you know it, 5 people waste 150 naira in a day. That's 750 naira. And they do it continuously, maybe 4 times in a week like that. That means they wasted 3,000 of your stock. And if you are running like that, in a month you are already losing 12,000, and nobody runs business like that. So if you own a lab, you won't be happy that a staff of yours is wasting those test kits, because you know the cost it is coming to you. And if you lose one, you will need to go and dig into the profit you are making on the others to be able to meet up with it. So we can see why we need to monitor our test kits effectively. Maybe when we start looking at it in terms of cost, we may appreciate what we are getting. Then from one point, from service delivery to product selection to forecast and procurement to inventory management, there's always quality monitoring, because somebody is monitoring how you are able to meet the demand of your customer in service delivery. That is where they come in, say, okay, let's see your bin card. If you don't have adequate supply, if you don't have adequate stock, how are you going to tell me you are able to meet service delivery? So that is quality management, quality check. Somebody is doing that quality check, and that's what the LMCU comes in once in a while to do with us. So don't see it as if, oh, they are wish hunting. No, they are just doing their job. They are doing the quality check that must be done to ensure that the logistics cycle integrity is maintained. Then, of course, from product selection, you may just have pushed a product into the market. Like I said, where we bought some, there is a release that I shared. Madam Kike, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
There's a release I shared with the LMCU. I don't know if they shared with you on Unigold, that there is this adulterated, yes, Unigold. They changed the batch or expiry lot number.
Okay.
And the WHO now flagged. So WHO flagged. So this is, even if we are selecting a product, by the time we start having questions around the integrity of these products, there's a committee that selects products.
Yes.
So they will just come together and decide. There's what we call essential commodity list, essential medicine list. They will just go there and pick another commodity and say, see, Unigold, because it is being adulterated a lot, we'll do away with it. So that informs why we see that there's a lot of changes coming up. And it can also be for quality issues like maybe efficacy, therapeutic issues. It can also be for contraindications and adverse drug reactions. Why do you think we are transitioning from TLE to TLD? It is because we found out that TLD is able to deliver a better target on the viral load that we want to come down for us than every other first-line drugs. So that's why we are positioned for TLD. So there's always quality monitoring around this. And of course, some people can come from the national and say they want to see our central medical stores, our storage facilities. Does it meet international ISO standard? If not, they will complain. They can even come to your facility and say, let us see where you store your products. Where do you put your ARVs? Where do you put your commodity? It's not well. They will tell you if you are doing it well. And if you are not doing it well, they are not there for punitive measure. They will just make their recommendation and tell you, please, you need to fix this, fix this, fix this. If it's at your level, if it is not, they'll talk to the management of the hospital management board or the primary healthcare development agency or whichever agency is responsible for our facility. So that is that about that. So you can see it is then, of course, around all this, there's policy of the government. It affects all these things we are seeing. Then how adaptable is what we are discussing? How adaptable is this thing for us? Something is working in South Africa does not mean it will work in Nigeria. We can see the COVID cases. Senegal is trailing the blaze because they just came and developed a $1 testing kit. And that is a game changer in the testing that anybody can use, like you are using your pregnancy test strips. So it's going to be a game changer in testing for COVID. So now anybody is going to be supporting it, like funders will obviously look for it, check the integrity around it, check if it is meeting ISO standard. And before you know it, the person that developed it is making so much millions. But then adaptability, is it going to be workable in Nigeria? We have to look at that also. Okay. Then, of course, this is talking about our supply chain pipeline. Pipeline is all the process that your commodity has to undergo from the manufacturer till it gets to you. If you remember our basic economy, there's always what we call, how do they say it, distribution. That's from manufacturer,
retailer.
So from the wholesaler, retailer, you know, before it gets to the end user. So we are the end user who are going to now use it, and our customer who is going to be either satisfied because it is a utility we are trying to satisfy, and the utilities that they are demanding for health. So the pipelines, all the process it has to undergo from manufacturer, the port, the central warehouse, regional. So you can see it's not easy. So that's why we always tell us, please, let's make our reports timely so that we can meet up with our pipeline. Some of these things they would have ordered like 6 months ago, and we are still expecting them. Some of them are in the ports. And now COVID is here. Most countries don't want to move. They don't want to travel. They don't want to move essential commodities. I think the only third-party logistic that is still functionally optimal here now worldwide, is DHL. They are the only one that has that capacity to respond to the COVID cases, the COVID pandemic, and they are still able to move things massively. If you watch around countries, DHL is the one taking the lead in terms of third-party logistics now. So then when this thing gets to the regional warehouse, like our Lagos warehouse, where we get our own commodity in the Southwest from, it is now moved to our health centers, dispensary, our hospitals, our laboratories. Then from there, we can now take our own and use for our clients. Then objective of storage and distribution. Storage assures product and packaging quality and constant availability. So the central store is to hold this thing, and then when we request for them, they are able to meet up with our demand. If they are not able to do that, if they can't guarantee good quality, then of course we can always change. The government can always decide to change any store they are using or any warehouse. Then transport, third-party logistic, assure that the product arrives in good condition, in the right place, at the right time, to the right person, for the right cost, at the right commodity. Mr. Jude was telling us about 6 hours. You must have the right products selected for the right, under the right quality, the right quantity, at the right cost, must be delivered at the right time, to the right place, and to the right person.
Condition.
And under the right quality. That's where the quality now comes in. So these are the 6 hours, 6 hour plus now. It used to be 6 hours, but it's now 6 hour plus. So plus one. So that the plus one is at the right quality. So everything must be done at the right quality. So transport, if our 3PL is bringing things to us where we are not going to be at facility, just tell them, I'm sorry, you have to come back. Nobody's going to hold you for that. So sorry, the less frequent your resupply, the greater your storage requirements. That means that the more you can hold, the more you can take, the more your storage has to be expanded. So the more you want, the more you need to expand your store. Which transportation system do we use? Pickup system, we have pickup system, facility collect drugs, or delivery system, warehouse delivers. If you can, pickup system is like when we have a central place where you can go and pick up your commodity. We used to do that before, where the SAPC, the SASCAP owed this HIV commodity, or the SACA, so to say, owed this commodity in trust for us. We'll go there and pick. The LACA manager will go pick, and then she will now be the one to distribute to facility. But we don't practice that again. It's now 3PLs. It's come directly from the warehouse to the facility. So, or before, we can have IPs holding it, and then they now move it to the facility themselves. But now, no IP is holding anything on our behalf. IPs just stay there and make sure everything is working. But on special occasion, we still move some commodity like DTS commodity, some consumables on special occasions. But it's not often. Those are one-off things. Then, is transportation outsourced? Do we outsource the 3PLs? I don't think we should bother ourselves about this. So, do procedure exist to verify the product shipped and received? Yes. We must verify the product that was shipped from the warehouse, and when we receive it, we must also verify. That's why we have the PODs. It is to verify that what was sent and was received. That is why once you sign, you cannot complain again. So you must always be careful before you sign. It is a verification. The POD is used to track quality and quantity. So please always ensure you verify what you are being given, that it is what you want and it is in the right condition. Conduct visual inspection for quality assurance, including expiries. That's left to us. They have done their own. They say they've done their own at the warehouse. So as we as health facility people must also do our own checks to ensure that we get what we need. Then complete and sign transaction record and vouchers. This is our POD, our delivery notes. We must make sure we sign once we are satisfied. If we are not satisfied, we must put the comment in all the sheets. You see, something happened recently to us. I took some deliveries of commodities for dried tube samples, and I find out that we were shortchanged with something as small as partial pipette. But when you look at the quantity, it's much. So, and they said they've delivered everything. Thank God I wrote it on all the POD and signed against it so that nobody can, unless you want to cancel my signature. And obviously that become a quality issue. And it was in Abuja that they saw it, it is still there, they are still looking for it. And the guy was asked to give us gloves, small, medium, and large. And he only gave us medium and large. There was no small. So these are issues because you might not know what the cost for this product are. You might just think this is the same glove. No, the cost might be different. So 3PS might have shortchanged or somehow. Because if one is more cheaper and it feels it's the same thing, let me give them more of this and less of that. So that is why we need to look at all our transaction record and make sure we sign appropriately. Update stock keeping record. We must do that regularly. Then the objective of inventory control is to ensure constant availability. Sorry. I want to go back. Sorry, I want to exit the slide so that, because I've jumped. Anyway, the essence of inventory is to ensure constant availability. So we must always make sure that we do a proper inventory so that we have adequate stock at all times. And we've gone through this in the previous lesson. So you can see it is related. The other one was CDC, WHO. This one is USAID. So John Snow International. So, but you can see it's the same thing where everybody's talking about. Maintain minimum and maximum stock inventory control system. Somebody was asking me, there's no place for us to report the minimum and maximum stock level. I said, like I said, put the minimum at the right-hand corner at the top of your ICC, your inventory control card or your tally card or your bin card, and then the maximum at the left-hand corner. So then systems are designed so stock quantity routinely fall between min and max. So that's how we design it. If you follow it, you should not be out of stock. Your minimum stock level for HIV program is always 2 months, and your maximum stock level is always 4 months. Same applies for malaria. Same applies for, I think, family planning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But the only difference here is TB, which maintains a quarter, 3 and 6. So that's the only. So for TB, their own minimum is 3 and their maximum is 6. So, but for all other programs within the S system that we are supporting, that IP supports, it is always 2 months and 4 months. So maybe tomorrow we'll talk about average monthly consumption, stock on hand, and all those things. So who decide what quantities to distribute? So you as facility people, you can do a pool by requesting. When you request, it's a pool. You are asking for us to give you some things. That's a pool system. Or we can decide on our own. We are giving you this commodity. There can be an emergency commodity we are pushing out. If we feel this thing will expire in the central store and nobody wants to look at expire, so we push it to the facility for the facility to use. A classical case was when they were pushing out this Unigold. A Unigold was about to expire, like that was about 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018. It was about to expire and they were pushing it out around November because it was going to go out, I think, the following April or something like that. So they were pushing it. In fact, they were flooding everywhere with Unigold, if we all remember that. So then, of course, recently for pharmacy, they also pushed out Ceftriaxone, and that was as a result because it was going to expire on them. It was going out in July, and so the last LMD they pushed out a lot of Ceftriaxones. In fact, some facilities were giving as much as 15,000, 10,000 vials, and they have to be rejected. Of course, you reject. You can only use what you can use, so you can only take what you can use. So you reject the remaining. Ashibiaro, as a classical case, was they were trying to give them like 5,000. They said they can only use 400. So nobody's going to hold them responsible for the remaining. They will take what they can take, sign on it, and send back. So that is, we can have pull or push. It can come from you as a pull, or it can come from us as a push. So that is how it works. Then decision should be based on training and human resources implication. So which type of mixed mark system to use? Of course, we are using 4 months, 2 months and 4 months. So then how long should the pipeline be? Longer pipeline reduce likelihood of stock out. No. But increases likelihood of wastage. If you have a longer pipeline, if when you are being supplied, it's going to take longer. Of course, what you'll be holding in your facility will be more. And because it will be more, there's a tendency you will waste it. It can also lead to expiries. Because if you are holding more, there's a tendency you may not use before the expiry date. So that is why we advocate for shorter pipeline. Though it can also lead to stock out. When you have shorter pipeline, there can be stock outs, but then there's a tendency that you will not have wastage. Because why do we have stock out? It's because you have used. But if you are not using, there will be wastage. So longer pipeline can lead to wastage. Shorter pipeline can lead to stock outs, but there will be no wastage. Then the LMIS. This is the one we are interested mostly in. The LMIS is the key component of any logistics system. Its impact on ordering, forecasting, and procurement. If you don't do the right data reporting, it will impact on your ordering, it will impact on our forecasting, it will impact on the funders' procurement, and of course, it will impact on the whole health system, and it will affect your service delivery. Then provide data to facilitate logistic decision making. Logistic decision making includes procurement, forecasting, warehousing, storage, all these things, because you need to know what you are going to order, when you are going to order, and where you are going to store, and how you are going to distribute. So then objective of logistic management information system. The objective of any logistic management information system is to always make sure that we have stock in the facility. If you don't have stock, everything is wasted. Then, of course, we also minimize stock out rates. Then we also minimize expires, and of course, we also minimize. We also maximize with the stock on hand. So these are the objectives of any logistic management system at the health facility. Then at the national level, it is to make sure that we have adequate quantity of procure. Then, of course, to have a seamless supply chain or risk supply delivery. Then what data do we collect from LMIS? We only collect data in LMIS that is useful for decision making in the area of commodity management. So you can see we are not interested in MIE data. It's not MIE data, because I see a lot of people give us MIE data. The only reason why we look at the MIE data is to be able to synchronize what you said you have used. Because at times we may look at, there may be, okay, quantity used is more than the number of tests done. Are we together? Hello? Hello?
Well, I'm with you.
Okay. So we might need to look at, okay, the quantity you said you have used vis-a-vis the test done. So that is where we need this MIE data to look at, okay, how many controls did you do? How many trainings did you do? Because we know you have trainings. So this is just our own. We are not really after the number of pregnant women tested, number of aged in logistics. That is not our own concern. It is the MIE who are more interested in that. And of course, the MIE also look at our own data also and judge it with your reporting. If you have said you have used 50 test kits and you are telling them you have only tested 25 people, what happened to the remaining 25 kits? Because your wastage or your adjustment should be plus or minus maybe 5%. So when it is getting out of hand, when you are using 10%, 15%, 20%, we start asking questions. So like Sister Bola, like you were saying, that is where we need to ask questions. And that is why we keep on asking questions. Because we look at your quantity used vis-a-vis number of tests done. And once we cannot just oppose it, we always ask questions. So then, sorry, a minute, please. Mr. Jude, please, can you take it from here? Hello? Hello?
You muted him.
Oh, I did, sorry. Hello? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Latife. Yeah.
Hello.
Sorry. Mr. Jude, you can go ahead.
Okay. Hello, can we hear me? Hello. Hello.
Jude, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, you muted every other person.
Yes. Oh.
All right. Let's continue from where he stopped. LMIS considerations. Hello, Kike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that you can hear me. Right. So, regardless of the product, always collect 3 essential logistics items. So these are the 3 logistics, the essential things that we use in collecting logistics data. Our consumption. You know, Mr. Fasasi has really done a lot. He has said much on these issues. Now, consumption data. Our consumption, what do we mean by our consumption? What do we collect as our consumption? Now, take for instance, you use 10 determine today. Of course, you need to record it. You use the Unigode, you need to record it. There was something that we were mentioning previously. He mentioned, okay, somebody even asked that question somewhere. If they are to record or to store invalids, yes. Even in the CRIF, it's there. You can, you know, it's in the navigation too. You have quantity used and quantity tested. These are 2 different things.
Yes.
All of them are still under this consumption. Now, you have been able to use, let's say, 50 test kits. And then when you check about tested, it's just probably 40.
40.
Yes, it's possible. So, but the main thing there is that the consumption was captured. So that whenever you're doing your records, you're doing your CRIF, you'll be able to capture it very well. And like Fasasi has said, if you have captured this thing very well, even when this meets up somewhere, it's quite unfortunate that they've cancelled that LMIS M&E meeting that we used to have, that we used to reconcile data before now, because it was actually helping. Now, whenever M&E and that is service data and consumption data, whenever they meet together, of course, they will be able to balance it. Now, M&E says they have 40 that you tested, but in your own, it is true, I consume what happened. I had 5, if then we'll make up, we'll calculate it and it will give us the same thing. So the second one is the stock on hand. He has also said something about this, stock on hand. Before we can determine our stock on hand, we must do our physical counts. We stress this so much. We have been stressing on this. It is very, very important because this has led to either overstocking or stock out. Since morning, I've been trying to get some commodities for a particular facility, which has actually caused a problem. How did this happen? The same thing. We don't do our stock on hand. We have physical count. When you say stock on hand, we just, okay, I had 500 before. Now I know that I used 400. I must surely be left with 100.
100.
200 there. So by the time you now go there, probably somebody has collected and not captured, maybe not recorded in the ICC or your daily consumption record or
Register.
anything, or register. You find out that you are left with 20 and you will be stocked out. Even as we speak, we have some facilities here that they have so many expires. How did they happen? They don't even capture it. When we are doing a wage drive, they didn't tell us. What did they do? They said, okay, they don't have expiry. So recently they started telling us. How did it happen? Because of this kind of thing. They did not do what? Physical count. Now we also have losses and adjustments. In our losses and adjustments, of course, like we mentioned earlier, of course you can have losses. It is true we don't encourage expired products. We don't want to hear that products are expired. When they're about to expire, flag it. 3 months flag. We can redistribute. We can give it to facility. If you know you can't finish it, you let us know. That is for expiring. Some commodities can damage. But we also say before now that we try to avoid this. We keep our storage. Storage is very, very important in logistics. We need to store our commodities very well. Some of these commodities are maybe on the body of the commodity. Of course, they will store in a particular temperature. Do this, do that. Don't expose to direct sunlight. We should read these things and obey this so that we won't be having so much losses. Then we also talk of our adjustment. The new CRIF, like Fasasi said, we're going to share that probably tomorrow. The new CRIF will be different because in the issue of losses and adjustment, they have a way, there's a way of putting it, not like before that you can just, okay, I gave out a commodity, let me just put it on the losses. I received, let me put it on this. No. And then on losses and adjustment, also, we have positive and negative adjustment. In this case now, you can receive, you're stocking out, or probably during our redistribution. It's not only when you're stocking out that you have this losses and adjustment. It could be that probably a facility is stocking out. Maybe your facility is a high volume site. A particular facility is stocking out, is being overstocked, and the commodity is going out. We can pull a commodity from that facility, and then with an agreement, because you're going to use it before it expires, we can give it to you to use, and then your own will be positive adjustment. So when you're giving out is a negative adjustment. Of course, you need to record it and make sure you capture it well. And if we do this thing, if we capture this thing well, we won't have issue when we do our stock in our reports. Hello, are we together?
Yes, I can hear you.
We don't know if others are hearing.
They can. I'm definitely sure they can hear you.
Okay. Now, for other products, we talk of ARV, the number of patient per regimen. We'll also be having issue with this one, although this one doesn't really concern us so much, but we're talking of the other lab. But we've also had issue with this one, where the facility will fill the other CRIF for ARVs or OIs and other things, but they will leave this one. Patient per regimen CRIF that they should have done. So that helps us to know a particular patient or the number of patients that are on a particular regimen. It is very, very useful. The HIV test, the number of tests by people for use. Like Madam Kike was talking about, we're not really completing our CRIP very well. There are parts that you need to okay, the papers, is it for HTS, is it for diagnosis, is it for TB, all those things are needed to be completed. Let us not be in so much haste to do this. It's true, it's done online innovation. But even at that, you should be able to also do that and capture it well. So that whenever anybody asks, you'll be able to show and say, okay, this is what I've done. Of course, it's very easy. If we do this thing every now and then, we record that, we won't have issue. But if we allow it to next slide, Mr. Fasasi. Common challenges. What are the common challenges that we face in our logistics management? We talk of insufficient storage things. To be frank with you, most facilities face this. Most facilities. We always have insufficient storage space where we keep, and this is more common when we talk of lab. I've been in so many facilities where their lab commodities are just kept anyhow. They don't even have ICC on this. We've stressed on this so much. How do we solve this? In a place where this can be inevitable, we can't avoid it. Of course, we can't have the whole hospital for our storage. The best way to go about this is to arrange our commodities the way they should. Let us not allow the storeroom to be cluttered. Let us arrange it. Of course, you can put some in the lab, in the store, and then this other one that you use, of course, you can be on the bench or probably in the lab where this can be used and can be reachable. So if we arrange this, maybe using LIM or using any other method which is very okay by you, of course, you can create space for yourself. And by arranging this, because this also can pose serious threat in the sense that you can just dump the commodities. And at the end of the day, because you just dumped them, some commodities will be expiring. You will not even know. Some will be damaged. You will not even know. You will not even put them on a pallet. And if there's any water or anything, of course, they will be damaged. And what would this lead to? Stockouts. And the purpose of logistics would have been defeated at that. Inappropriate storage condition, of course, we've talked about this. In determining, it said, okay, store below this temperature. Unigold, Star Park, this one, that one. Of course, let's just try to always read some of these things and then store in a particular storage condition to avoid deteriorating of these commodities. There are some places, some facilities you go to see that the determinant they use has deteriorated, and then this could lead to what? False positives or false negatives, and they will know. It applies to all the health commodities. It's not only the drug, the same thing. Of course, it reduces the potency of ARV or that thing when you expose them to sunlight or when they be damaged by water or any other thing. So let's just always take note of this one, making sure that all the commodities are stored in a good condition. Then different reporting system in place at the same facility by donor or by program. Yeah, it is true. Like this one is okay. This one is GF HIV. This one is GF malaria. This one is TB. This one is this. This one is this. We know this can be co-vaccine because, of course, you need to capture all the data. But because at the end of the day, they will come to collect data for this. It can pose a serious challenge in our logistics. But then, like we always say, we've also stressed on that. Madam Keke and Pastor has always said this. Let us try to delegate duties. If you delegate duties, this will not be a major challenge because we know that some staff will be responsible for a particular one. If something is taken out, it's recorded immediately, not waiting for maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, or at the end of the month. Some even wait till the end of 2 months when they will now start bringing up ICC and be saying, okay, come, this one, did you take anything? Did you take anything? And by then, you're definitely going to have issues. Another one is no established logistic data collection and reporting system from a service delivery point to a central level. We've also discussed this when someone was okay. Some of the focal, let's just say testing points, you give out test kits to these service delivery points. Do you have anything on ground to capture and to track whatever thing you give out? This can be a challenge in a situation that you have like 4 or 5 in a facility. But if you have this, if you have a logistics system like internal requisition, yeah, I am giving you 100 test kits, like I'm giving you 100 test kits. When you be returning your report, I am not seeing 100 reports. What happened? Because you probably must have even forgotten that you gave out 100 because there's nothing on ground to track what you gave out and what they're giving you back. Then poor data utilization at the central level. At that central level, probably is it in the lab or anywhere where these things are being given out? Do you utilize the data? Like I said, you have given out 100. Will you be able to say, okay, I gave out 100 to this particular service delivery point. How many are they giving me back? How many is the balance? Then this other one is supply, drug supply is driving, prescribing, and dispensing, of course. This one now is from the pharmacy, of course, down from the store down. Need for drug storage at home, pediatric formulas. Of course, some of these drugs that need to be stored at home, especially the pediatric formula, they need to be stored in a special condition. So this is also a challenge. It poses a challenge because sometimes the end users may not be able to do this one. Next slide, Fasat. What are we talking about here? No products, no program. Of course, if we don't have products, there is no program. That's why we always say, stock out, it's not acceptable. Although we've been seeing it and it's been happening, but it's avoidable. We can avoid that. There is no program. If we don't have, let's say, determine now, of course, what are we doing? Is it not when you test someone, you know whether the person is positive or negative, that you now go ahead and put the person on ARVs? And when you even test and the person is probably positive and you do not have ARVs to initiate the person on, what are you doing? You have ended up not doing anything. You have ended up not providing a solution. In public health, screening is not just enough. When you screen, you must provide a solution. In fact, it's a crime that you screen somebody and you're not providing a solution. Like you just test somebody, you're positive, go. There's nothing I can do. After you're positive, you're committing a crime. So in order to avoid this, of course, we need to follow up with our logistic management system. We need to be sure that we always have product so that the program will continue running. Next slide.
That's it.
Good. So,
Hello.
questions, reaction. I think you need to unmute people so that they can react. And,
yes, I will unmute them now.
Okay.
Hello. Everybody's unmuted now. So, any other business? I think. Hello. Hello. I want to appreciate. See, I will mute us again.
Just ask for.
So I would like to appreciate Mr. Jude for helping me out here. So I got some calls from facility people who were asking if they should join. Hello.
Hi.
Ẹjọ́ àwa tá a mọkọ wálé ẹjọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká mute mic wa o.
Wọ́n ti kọrúkọ.
So please, Techno F1. I don't know the name. This Techno F1, please. Who is Techno F1?
Techno F1 from Enuwa Bola Awuyera.
Okay, so Ms. Aweda, that is Madam Bola Awuyera is Techno F1.
Okay.
So maybe you should just change the name. I will change the name, yes, sir. Okay. You said? So, okay. Techno, come on 2. Hello.
Come on 2 is Jelilat from Ope.
Okay.
Yes.
Mrs. Usman.
Yes. Kò sí mọ̀kọ́ wálé o. Kò sí mọ̀kọ́ wálé o.
Because I was hearing about.
Ó ti ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ mọ̀kọ́ wálé ni o.
Okay.
Ọmọ kan wá lè sí o.
No wahala.
Bóyá náà la máa pé o.
No
Ṣé o?
wahala. So then who is Infinix Hot 3? Who is Infinix Hot 3?
The person is on video.
I even want to unmute the person.
Unmute the person so that the person can.
I've done that now.
Okay.
I don't know why some people
The
are.
person muted herself.
I'm trying to. Well, Hot 3, we don't know who you are. Oh.
She can't hear you.
And she's on video.
Yes, she can't hear you.
Let me try and see the person. Okay. Mrs. Izamot. I can hear you. I can hear you. So it's Mrs. Izamot. Ashibiaro. So you can let me rename. Okay, so okay, Kike is out. Okay, she's back. I think that's all, Abi. We don't have anybody.
I couldn't get this Nokia 3.1, but it's no longer online.
Nokia, I'm not seeing any Nokia there.
It was there initially when we started it.
Okay, and she left.
Yes.
No wahala.
Mr. Pasase, are you done?
We are done for today. So possibly you like to just give us a closing remark for the day.
Okay, I actually want to add some things I needed to add to what Mr. What you said and what Mr. Jude has explained.
Okay.
Okay. So please go to that logistics circle.
Okay.
So I want to explain something a little bit about
all right,
that logistics circle. Are we with me?
Yes.
Okay. So we can all see that in this circle, it started from the seventh. The circle started from the 7th and it still fell down to the 7th customer. And the LMIS is the art of all these things, like the engine. Am I communicating?
We are with you.
Okay. The art of the customer, the product selection, inventory management. So this when we are disturbing facilities that okay, we need your reports, we need this. We want you to save your clients. We want you to help people who are being infected with these diseases. Fine, you might not have money, like I used to say to people, you might not have money to give people, to help people, but this is your own way of contributing to the society and helping other people. If you don't complete your reports, if you don't send your reports, there's no way commodities can come to your facilities and you'll be able to give these clients and save their lives. So please, LMIS, Logistics Management Information System, is the engine of all this. The pipeline monitoring, the organization and staffing, budgeting, supervision, evaluation, and all that, they are all very key. They are very important. We can see that inventory management is part of it. Very important part of it. So please, when we are disturbing you, we are not just disturbing. Don't say we are disturbing you. We know that the work is not easy, but please keep bearing with us because you are saving people, you are saving lives. So that's that for that. Then another thing is concerning the 3PLs and the inspection of commodities. It is very important that we inspect commodities that comes to us. When 3PLs bring commodities to you, don't just collect it. Even when you are not at the facility, anybody that is collecting the commodity, please, let's mute our mics a little. Okay, can I continue?
Yes.
Okay. So, for those of us that were not always available when 3PLs bring commodities to the facility, please, anybody that is collecting on your behalf, tell the person to inspect the commodities very well. I can give you an example of something that happened in Nasarawa. Yes. They took a particular commodity to a facility with the POD. The 3PL said he gave them 3 commodities. From the POD, it was 3 commodities that was there. The first page captured just the 2 commodities. The other page captured 1 commodity. But the 3PL brought only 2 commodities to that facility, not 3. But on the POD, it is 3 commodities that they received. And the person signed. Later, they found out that it is only 2 commodities that they received, not 3. But they already signed. Now, it is not the fault of the 3PL again. It is the fault of the person that received the commodity, who didn't check, who did not inspect the commodity. Now, you have to pay Global Fund. The person paid for the facility paid for that commodities. So please, we don't want you to be in that situation. When they bring commodities to you, check. If somebody is collecting on your behalf, educate that person. Train that person on the criteria of collecting commodities from 3PL. God will not allow us to pay for what we don't know about, though.
Amen.
So another thing, transfer forms, they are very important. When you call Mr. Jude, please, Abi, Mr. Fasasi, we have these commodities, or those soon expire. Please come and help us transfer. Please make sure you make use of transfer forms and give to Mr. Fasasi. Make use of transfer forms. And if you are going to transfer a commodity yourself, please make use of transfer forms. You can go and give that facility the commodities and they say you didn't give them. No evidence, so there's no evidence to show that you gave them. And with that, it shows that there's something wrong. It's either you went to sell Global Fund commodity or you stole it. It is a two-way thing. So please, all these little things, they are very important. And please, some PMTCT side, they don't even have CRIF. They don't have reporting, they don't have records. When we ask some of them to send their bi-monthly reports, they'll be sending through text message. Please, when Global Fund wants to come to the state, this is a secret. When they want to come to the state, sometimes they don't even come to the LMCU. They don't come to the Ministry of Health. They go directly to the facility. Check their records. They will ask for your bi-monthly report. There's no how. They will ask for your CRIF. In fact, before they check your register, they will ask for your CRIF after checking the commodities. And when you don't have any CRIF to show, it is a problem, not even for you, it is a problem for the state. They'll just come and report to the commissioner. They went to this facility, this is what they saw. Please, let's see these things as very important, because if we don't see it as important things, we won't want to do them. We would not want to do them. They are very important. These little things that we take lightly, they are very important. And there are things that can implicate us. And I'm not praying for any one of us to be implicated. Some of us, they will do transfer on their report, it is the one record transfer under quantity received. And when we check PODs, it's not the same thing with what they received and what is on the POD. Just like Mr. Jude has explained, there's negative and positive adjustments. If you give out to a facility, it is a positive adjustment. If you receive from another facility, when you give out is a negative adjustment. When you receive from another facility, is a positive adjustment. Even if there's no way you can record the comments, there's a column for remark. If you have your crib, comment on it so that we can know how. And please, a lot of us, our consumption is questionable. It is questionable. When you see small facilities, they tell you they consume 50 kits. So if there's anything that's been going on, you are using Global Fund kits for something else, please let us stop it. We need transparency and we need to protect our integrity. We don't want somebody to come from Abuja and say, this facility, it looks like they're stealing kits, so let's inspect them very well. We don't want that case in Osun. So please, let's make sure that we are using the kits, we are using the commodities rightly for the right things. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So please, we have to be really, when we call you, we know the reason why we are calling you. It is because we don't want you to be implicated. So please, let's make sure there's a positive, there's a change, a positive change going forward. And I pray that God will help us. Thank you very much.
Amen, amen. Thank you very much, Sister Kike. It's nice. So she has said it all. I hope I will listen. Because most of the time, you see, we have what we call the LFA. The LFA are just fiduciary people. They are local financing audits people, and they don't even call most of the time. If you even be lucky, they will tell you we are coming to Osun State. That they are just coming to Osun State. You are lucky. They say we are coming next week. You don't know where they are going to. They will even tell you. They have their list. And I happen to be in an MBA training where I was opportune to speak to one of those guys, one of these GF LFA guys. He was part of my course mates there. The guy said they are paid to look for faults.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get that fault, it's like when a soldier kills Boko Haram and he's able to kill more. The more he kills, the more they put rope for his shoulder, you know. So we don't turn into people that they now use like, okay, a stepping stone to their own stardom. So they are paid to look for fault and they will do it. And he says most of the time, the problem is that it's not that we don't do this thing, but we don't know how to document these things. So documentation is key.
It's key.
Fine, you have sent something to someone which is true, but you have not documented it. So it becomes your word against their own. They say, we got there and we found out that there were about 20 packs of drugs or 20 packs of vitamin missing. And they were telling us they've sent to somewhere. There's no record. If you get to court, ignorance is not an excuse in front of law. I didn't know I had to record it. Then you become like, why must you handle commodity if you don't know what to do? That in itself is an offense. So please let us get all these things. As we are talking, just let's write it down. We will still do the audio rendering so that it will not be bulky. You can just listen to it, all these conversations that we are talking about. Tomorrow we'll talk more on the key documents and what we are looking for, what each heading in those documents, what they mean, and how we are supposed to fill those documents properly. Is it the ICC? Is it the CRIF? Is it whichever document? Is it the transfer form, commodity transfer form? So that we know how to fill our document properly. So thank you very much, everybody. It's been a wonderful day. So I'd like someone to lead in the spirit to close for us, or we just sing the national anthem and go.
I think you should unmute them.
Okay. Let me unmute them. So, comments. We are rounding up for today. Comments.
Comment from Renwa.
Okay.
I want to really appreciate the madam that's talking. I really appreciate your effort. And I think we are on the same page. Because when it comes to transparency and commodities, I try as much as possible, to put extra efforts, because I know that's the major thing when it comes to this program.
Yes.
So I appreciate your effort. You are not disturbing me, but I just you are not disturbing me, please, but I want a situation whereby there will be less call and more praises, because I put extra effort, effort into
we appreciate
accounting
you.
and making sure. And people know me that here I don't. If you can't account for a commodity, I won't give you. So you know it here. So everything I'm just trying to do, I just want a situation whereby there will be less complaint and more praises.
Yes.
So
No problem. No problem.
So you are not disturbing me.
No problem. We appreciate you.
So, Mr. Jude.
Yeah.
Any comments?
Well,
Admonition? Or we just close?
We've said a whole lot of things. Let us release them so that tomorrow is another day. We'll do the other ones tomorrow.
Okay. So please, I'll be rendering the audio and I'll put it online on our group so that those who miss out can listen to all the discussion. Please try and reach out to as many people as we can so that tomorrow they can join. It's a practical session tomorrow. So for those of us who are in our facility, we can even ask our subordinate who wants to join free, like they want to join, so that we can have more people to listen and see the practical session. And I believe that this will help our reporting when we start reporting. So thank you very much. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
So we can just click leave meeting. So for you to exit.